What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So, a major problem with tax returns here for over 1 million people here. And President Biden speaks on the debt ceiling and default crisis here of America. Kevin McCarthy actually gives us some information here on it. Well, a lot going on here right now. Let's jump right in. Here we go. Yeah, so the IRS has flagged more than 1 million tax returns for identity fraud here in 2023. This year already, more than 1 million tax returns. Yeah, so this is for potential identity thieves. This is a growing problem, the IRS says. Taxpayers can take preventative measures such as requesting an identity protection personal identification number from the IRS. Yeah, the IRS flagged more than 1 million tax returns for potential identity theft already during this year's tax season, according to the U.S. Department of Treasury, signaling that such fraud continues to be a pervasive problem for taxpayers. Tax-related identity theft occurs when criminals use a taxpayer's personal information to file a return in their name to try to claim their federal tax refund or to claim a fake refund in their name and file a number that's maybe any number in their name. The IRS identified nearly 1.1 million tax returns as potentially fraudulent as of March 2nd, according to a Treasury report issued to the public Tuesday that analyzed data partway through the filing season. So there's going to be more. The associated refunds were worth about $6.3 billion that the IRS has already caught. Tax-related identity theft has been a problem since 2004, and it's only gotten worse. Quote, it went from being a one-off thief ripping off someone's social security number to a whole scheme and organized crime. Identity theft was the most prevalent type of fraud, consumers reported to the FTC in 2022. A new report by Identity Theft Resource Center found that identity crime declined in 2022, but only marginally from an all-time high hit in 2021. The IRS increased the number of filters it uses to identify potentially fraudulent tax returns, and now uses 236 filters during the recent tax season. Quote, they're trying to crack down to make sure you're the actual one actually filing the tax return. This is part of the reason why the IRS needs agents. Also, they need people to even answer the phone. If you try to call the IRS, sometimes you can't even get through. Remember that there's millions of people in the United States. There's 330 million plus people. And I know you hear the number about 87,000 IRS agents, but remember there's 330 million people in the United States. And, well, who knows how many million people actually file tax returns, but there's a lot. And when you need to get through to the IRS, a lot of them have to answer phones. A lot of them are going through this paperwork and stuff. And, well, there's a lot of people in the United States. Let me know your thoughts. Also, President Biden speaks out here on the debt ceiling negotiations and the potential default here of the United States. Take a listen here.
America's role in the world is vital, especially right now, as we work together with other countries to support Ukraine and take on the challenges that demand international cooperation, and from tackling the climate crisis to strengthening the global economy. And before I leave, I wanted to say a word about the status of negotiations with the congressional leaders. We had a productive meeting yesterday, and with all 4 leaders in the Congress. It was civil and respectful, and everyone came to the meeting, I think, in good faith. I'm confident that we'll get the agreement on the budget, that America will not default. And every leader in the room understands the consequences if we fail to pay our bills. And it would be catastrophic for the American economy and the American people if we didn't pay our bills. And I'm confident everyone in the room agreed with the Speaker, from the Speaker to the Majority Leader to the Majority Leader in the House and the Senate, the Majority Leader in the Senate, the Minority Leader in the Senate, as well as the leader, the Democratic leader in the House. So we're going to come together because there's no alternative to do the right thing for the country. We have to move on. And to be clear, this negotiation is about the outlines of what the budget will look like, not about whether or not we're going to, in fact, pay our debts. The leaders have all agreed we will not default. Every leader has said that. And I'm proud of the progress my administration has made. We've reduced the deficit in the first 2 years by $1.7 trillion in the first 2 years. And I proposed a budget that would reduce another $3 trillion over the next decade. That includes more revenue by asking the wealthy and large corporations to begin to pay their fair share, and cutting subsidies that exist in the law now to big oil and big pharma. Yesterday, we all agreed that both the Speaker McCarthy and I would designate senior members that we would negotiate to give our authority to make agreements in detail what we wanted. So we narrowed the group. To meet and hammer out our differences. And we've done that. In fact, they met last night, and they're going to be meeting again today. And I'll be in constant contact with my team while I'm at the G7, and be in close touch with Speaker McCarthy and other leaders as well. Now, what I have done, in anticipation that we won't get it all done till I get back, is I've cut my trip short in order to be for the final negotiations and sign the deal with the majority leader. I made clear that, and I'll say it again, America is not a deadbeat nation. We pay our bills. The nation has never defaulted on its debt, and it never will. And we're going to continue these discussions with congressional leaders in the coming days until we reach an agreement, and I'll have more to say about that on Sunday.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says the House could vote on the debt ceiling deal as soon as next week, saying here that he is optimistic that congressional negotiators could reach a deal to raise or suspend the debt ceiling in time to hold a House vote on it next week. He says, quote, "I see the path that we can come to an agreement," McCarthy told reporters in the Capitol. "And I think we have the structure now, and everybody's working hard. And I mean, we're working 2 or 3 times a day, then going back to getting more numbers." Interesting. Investors have been watching Washington closely this week, and signs of progress in the months-long debate limit standoff. In fact, on Wednesday, the stock market had a really good day. White House negotiators huddled with McCarthy's team in the Capitol complex Thursday, continuing their efforts to hammer out a deal that needs to pass Republican majority House and the Democratic-controlled Senate ahead of potential June 1st deadline, the soonest date the Treasury could run out of cash to pay debts already incurred. McCarthy declined to give reporters any new details about what was being discussed behind closed doors. He said, "I don't think it's productive if you go write something and then everyone who is not in the room all get mad over things. I just believe where we were a week ago and where we are today is a much better place because we've got the right people in the room discussing it in a very professional manner with all the knowledge, all the background from all the different leaders," McCarthy added. Honestly, this is a massive, massive shift from where Kevin McCarthy was even just a day or two ago, where he was completely pessimistic about meeting with Biden and how Biden's strung him along for 100+ days. For him to even be optimistic at all is a complete 180. Uh, or maybe even a 720. Maybe it feels like he's been spun around a couple times and now he's going in the right direction. Wow, what a change in terms. So this must mean that the Republicans are getting some of the stuff that they wanted, or else I don't think he would be talking this way. So we will see. This by all means does not mean that we're at the finish line and we're ready to sign the agreement. Remember, they're going to need to actually pass this, and Republicans and Democrats are going to have to be happy with this enough to get the amount of votes passed, and for the caucuses, for them to actually agree with it and get the votes passed, them to say, okay, we like it, we'll vote for it. So I'll keep you up to date here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon if after subscribing so you don't miss out on any new videos. I'll keep you up to date here with everything happening here in our country on a daily basis. And thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos here as well. Here's some videos you should watch next. Here's a video about how Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA payments could be delayed because of the debt limit ceiling. And here's a video about Congress to block the Chinese from buying U.S. land, and a new Supreme Court ruling on guns, as well as my wife's in that video. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.